Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Made in New England interview series, where we interview New England based companies and the people who lead them. I'm your host, Steve DeVries, and today I'm joined by Glenn Welch, the co owner of two businesses, Bite Harder Products and Arbor Edge Sharpening Tools, both headquartered in Belmont, New Hampshire. Glenn, thanks so much for joining us today.
My pleasure.
Glenn, would you like to kick us off and maybe just give us a brief background as to who you are and what your businesses are all about?
So my background is mechanical engineering. I'm a mechanical design engineer. I have currently two businesses. One is Bite Harder Products. The other is Arbor Edge Sharpening Tools. Bite Harder Products is about 15 years old. Bite Harder manufactures, distributes products that make snowmobiling safer and less costly for your average snowmobiler. It is a costly sport, and there are a lot of things that we saw or I saw over the years as a snowmobiler, how we could help save snowmobilers save money and make their riding safer on the trails. Arbor Edge Sharpening Tools is a company that's only about 18 months old, but it was conceived based on the fact that it was similar to what we did in the Bite Harder snowmobiling industry company, where we manufacture sharpening tools that help arborists save money by sharpening their stump grinding teeth and the chipper blades on their machines.
Wow. So you've gone from mechanical engineer to business owner. What's driven your business success to this point?
So it's a long story. I'll keep it as short as possible. Back
Take your
in nine
time.
Back in 1989, my wife and I decided that we wanted to start a family. We had always vacationed in the Lakes region of New Hampshire, and we said, "Boy, what a great place to start a family, raise a family, get out of the madness of the North Shore of Massachusetts." So we bought a small machine shop. It was about a five-person machine shop in Meredith, New Hampshire. It was called Burns Machine. We did keep the name, but incorporated it under Welch Manufacturing Technologies Limited. From there, we grew it into a 35-person aerospace machining company. We specialized in aerospace components. I would say of all the products we've made over the years, we probably have parts that just about are on every aircraft out there, from military to commercial, helicopter, planes, you name it. Even the rocket industry, launching satellites and so forth. So we were pretty proud of that fact. In October of 2023, after 33 years of being in the industry, and having, again, upwards of 35 employees, I think my wife and I got to the point where we were a little burned out and said it's time to move on. At that point in time, I had owned five companies. Welch Manufacturing being the umbrella parent company. We still had the Burns Machine Company that did the aerospace machining. We had a company called Machine Component Source that would outsource smaller jobs to smaller local machine shops to help keep them busy and profitable. We had a company called Clean Technologies. That was a company that you could send us your injection molding tools that were caked up with flashing and so forth, and we would burn that flash off in a low temperature oven to refresh your tooling so that there were proper shutoffs and the tooling would run better. We also had Bite Harder, which I had started 15 years prior. And then also we had Arbor Edge. So what I did was I sold off everything but Bite Harder and Arbor Edge and basically said, I'm going to bring a partner on board. That partner is Chris Duhame of Pivot Creative Management. He is my partner with the Bite Harder company and the Arbor Edge company, and we are working together. I need a little young blood in there and in my older ages, and we are working together to grow these companies and develop them as the years go on.
So you've owned five businesses at one time. And now you're down to the two. But so I'm thinking back to your days on the North Shore of Massachusetts. You're a mechanical design engineer, and obviously your desire to live, up in the Lakes region, which I don't blame you. That's exactly where I'd like to be right now. What prompted you to want to become a business owner? Presumably you were working as a mechanical design engineer prior to that. But I'm curious, was it the relocation that prompted you to want to be a business owner, or was there something more to that?
I always had the drive, the motivation, the energy to want to do something on my own. It was a risk. Anytime you go into business, you're rolling the dice. But if you're confident in yourself and your abilities, and the fact that I have the knowledge, and my wife had the knowledge from a buyer's perspective, so she could help me out at the same time, I felt like, hey, let's do it. I think we can be successful at this. If it doesn't work, we still have our careers to fall back on and can get jobs all over again. So we gave it a shot, and it worked out.
Amazing. And so now your focus is on Bite Harder and Arbor Edge, and you've got your business partner in Chris Duhame, whom I know, great guy. And
Yeah.
Pivot is a fantastic company as well. So thinking about all of that, thinking about the future, what excites you most about it for either business or both businesses?
The fact that Bite Harder is a company that primarily promotes safer snowmobiling, lower cost snowmobiling. We've got products that help sharpen your carbide runners, diamond coated products. These products help snowmobilers be safer on the trail, especially in icy conditions. We've also got products that identify you on the trail with lights that go on the back of your helmet. We've got other products, just a myriad of products that are on our website. We've become a store for basically any kind of products that simplify snowmobiling and make snowmobiling more cost effective. And with 2 million snowmobilers throughout North America, US, and Canada, we've got a great market right out our back door.
Wow. So I want to take a step back just for a second. So how did you and Chris get to how did you guys meet, and what prompted the partnership discussion?
So basically, I think it was probably 2011. I was on a snowmobile trip up in Canada with a bunch of friends, good snowmobiler. We got up that morning, though it was warm the day before. We got up that morning and it was nice and cold and crisp, and we were riding, and I was going around a fairly large sweeping corner. But because we had been riding the days before and riding over roads and so forth, my carbide runners have become dull, which is always a frustration. It limits your steering ability. I came around the corner, hit a patch of ice. My sled went in one direction. I jumped off, went in the other direction. It went over the embankment. We pulled it out, $1,000 in repairs later. I said I was lucky to be alive. Went back to the shop, developed some sharpening tools. That was what started Bite Harder. Shortly thereafter, we realized I needed someone to do our marketing, and we were referred to Chris, and we grew the relationship from there.
So it was a snowmobile. I won't call it, maybe you call it an accident, but that's what prompted this whole thing. That's a really cool story.
Correct, and the irony behind it is with Arbor Edge, because we manufacture sharpening tools that are similar to the bite harder tools, these are diamond coated tools that will sharpen your carbide stump grinding teeth, which are which are carbide, and will also sharpen your hardened steel blades on your chipper knives for your chipper machines. I rented back in probably 2020 a stump grinding machine. I had a very small pine stump that I wanted to grind down, had a tree cut down in my yard, rented it, and the machine that I got from the rental company took all day to do a very small stump. The machine was smoking. It sounded like I was going to destroy the piece of equipment. I looked at the tooling that was on the stump grinding wheel, and they were dull. And when I brought it back after the job was complete to the rental company, I said to them, why why can't you guys sharpen this tooling? And they said, well, it's expensive to put new tooling on it. So we run the tooling till it's pretty much dead and ready to throw out. So the light bulb went off in my head and said, hey, we know how to do that in the snowmobile industry. Why can't we incorporate it in the arbor industry as well? And we found out that arborists, especially, one, two, three, four-man operations, are looking just for this kind of a product or these kind of products to help save money and make them more efficient, the job site.
Very cool. And I've had I would say the opposite experience. I was fortunate enough to rent a stump grinder once for a big hickory stump, and I think it had, when I got my hands on it, like 11 hours. So the tooling was beautiful on it. Like everything, the blades were nice, and it did a great job. But I can imagine the frustration, for a user on
Oh,
having those dull
absolutely.
blades.
Absolutely.
So so Bite Harder, and you're making snowmobiling safer and more affordable. You've got Arbor Edge, you're making tools sharper, last longer, probably stronger rental business, better user experience. Sounds like there's a lot of great things happening, but if you think about either business or industry, right? If you had a magic wand and you could kind of wave it over either of those businesses and make one thing happen, what would that be?
There are so many people in these 2 industries, the snowmobiling industry, the aftermarket snowmobiling industry, as we call it, and, the Arbor industry. There are so many people out there. It's just trying to wave that magic wand to get everybody to know that we exist, to let everybody know that we make products that will save you a lot of money. We've done some calculations that say, we can save arborists 50% on their tooling costs. Um, Snowmobiling. States in the US, provinces in Canada have looked at us. They've realized that our products make snowmobiling safer, and we partner with them because they know that by reducing fatalities, reducing accidents, and so forth, they get better funding from from the government and so forth. So these are all positive things. But again, it's just a matter of getting things out there. I mean, when you're only selling to 5 to 10% of the market share or the potential market out there, you want to say, okay, how do we increase this to 20, 30, 40, 50%? Because we've got products that can help. How do we let people know that? And fortunately, that's Chris's job at this point in time. I'm really fulfillment and, product engineering, development, and that kind of stuff. But we work closely together on doing that, like today in talking with you.
So both of your businesses have a heavy presence here in New England, right? Obviously, with the arborist, it goes without saying, snowmobiling. What other ways does being in New England potentially impact your business?
Well, I think
Pros or cons? I'm sorry.
no problem. I think one of the best ways is that being in New England, we are right in the core of the heart of snowmobiling. New Hampshire is a great place to snowmobile, but you go over to Vermont, New York, you get out to Wisconsin, Minnesota, all those places, huge snowmobiling numbers and whatnot. Michigan, and yeah, we're kind of right in the middle of where everything is, and we can generate excitement from our area and working closely with the people from New Hampshire and having them help us get the word out. From the arborist side of things, there's a lot of arborists in New Hampshire, and building on that base, we've been able to start a company from a local standpoint. We just attended a local arborist show down in Springfield called Arbor Fest. We got a chance to meet a lot of local New England companies that didn't know we existed, and now they do. And they will buy our products, and they will try them out, and on the forums and other stuff, they'll talk about our products, and just to help move that knowledge base that we do exist and we can save these companies a lot of
Amazing. And so, owned obviously multiple businesses. We've talked about that. If you had to give any advice to someone who is ambitious as you are that wants to own multiple businesses, what would that advice be?
I would say probably the best thing I could advise someone on is just have a great management team underneath you. Someone that you can, or some team that you can rely on to do the things that you can't do. I'm the kind of person that wants to do it all, but I can't do it all. And working 80 hours a week at times doesn't make me as efficient as possible. But having a good, strong team that stands behind you, that is dedicated, and will put in the work, I think that's key to really growing a company and making it succeed.
And agree more. We've been talking with Glenn Welch today, owner of Arbor Edge and Bite Harder Products. Glenn, it's been great having you on. Thank you so much for joining us.
Steve, it's been my pleasure. Anytime. Great
All
talking to you
right.
too.
And thanks to everybody out there for watching. We'll be back with another episode soon. Hope you all have a great day.